Pamela Show, where we learn and grow together. I have an empowerment quote for you to kick things off today. It is never too late to start dreaming. That is a perfect lead-in to today's episode, which is about daring to dream and following your dream and manifesting your dream. Are you ready to go? Let's go to the Pamela Show. Come on. Hey everyone, welcome to the Pamela Show. I am so excited that you are here because today in our learning and growing together time, you are going to be amazed and energized. I know you're going to be excited. If you don't have paper and pen, you need it because you're going to want to take some notes today. My dear friend, you can see him right here, Barry Overton, coming to us from Colorado, is here. And boy, are you going to be just blessed by what he has to say today. Barry is a friend. He's a motivational speaker. Oh, among many other things that he does. And an author. I'm not going to take time to elaborate on all of that because I want Barry to tell you who he is and what he does. So Barry, welcome to the Pamela Show.
Thank you, Pamela. I am so excited to be here and really just excited to see the growth. We've started this journey together in our speaking and really taking it to new levels outside of our communities. And to see what you're doing now is really just so exciting.
Thank you. You have been an example and a mentor to me and someone that I have watched your growth just take off the charts. I mean, like out of the ballpark, there goes Barry. So having you here is a privilege and an honor today. So with that, would you just elaborate a little bit about who is Barry Overton and what does he do?
I love the question. So I want to break it in two parts real quick, but Barry Overton, the person, is who is in the body. This body was given the name Barry Overton. And that person is a Gulf War veteran, a retired police officer of 26 years, 20 years in real estate, 25 years as an entrepreneur, and now an author and a speaker. But I want to talk about the spirit. See, that's truly who we all are, is that spirit that's inside of us. And that is the being that was put here for a purpose. And this particular being is here to inspire people to dream, to inspire people to tap into those special gifts and talents that they all have inside of it.
That is absolutely who you are. I love that there's the what we do that goes along with our name tag. Hi, I'm Pamela. This is my name tag and this is what I do. But then who I am is on the inside. Yeah. And we're all here on purpose with a purpose, right?
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what you're talking about. And you get that and you begin to walk that out in your life, but also bringing so many others along with you. And I know we had a little chat before the show about dreaming.
Yeah.
And I know you're going to talk to us about dreaming today. And that is huge because, after a certain age, a lot of people just think dreaming isn't relevant or it's not for us anymore. And I believe fully that you're going to be stirring up dreams in people today as you bring forth incredible empowerment in your words. So if you're ready, we are ready to be transformed. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Well then, Barry, we're ready. Take it away.
I just want to talk to each and every one of you and share this with Pamela as well about the power of dreaming. And when I'm on stage or I'm doing a podcast or a Zoom event, anything where I can interact with people, I always ask, where are my dreamers at? And I'll get a show of hands of people that will raise their hands. And what always surprises me, but it doesn't surprise me at the same time, is that not all the hands go up. And what I also notice is that there are less than half that actually raise their hands, because we've been taught as we become older to look at dreaming almost in a negative light. It has a negative connotation. Think about that. Dreaming has a negative connotation to it. But when you think from a standpoint of someone saying you're a dreamer, it doesn't, if they're saying it from a place of, you got to stop dreaming and get into reality, it's looked at as negative. But I can tell you, every time someone uses that word with me, it actually makes me stand up a little bit more and puff out my chest, because I'm like, yes, you're right. I'm glad you noticed. And the reason I say that is because now, to be a true dreamer, you have to dream, you have to dream big, but you have to put a plan behind the dream, and you must execute. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit here, is belief, plan, and execution of the dreams. And doing these things allows what we call the greatness to come out, and it's revealed to the world. But before I even get started, let's talk about what greatness truly is. See, greatness, to me, the definition is the ability to inspire the next person, the ability to touch someone else and inspire them to go out and live their best life, so to speak, and live in the greatness that was placed inside of them and bring it to the world. And if they do the same thing, they're going to inspire other people. And it all starts by having the big dreams. Now, let me just kind of share with you, as a kid, I dreamed big. At probably 5, 6 years old, I wanted to be Superman. And I don't mean Superman on TV or in the movies. I wanted to be Superman. And I'm telling you, I was Superman in training. I ran through the neighborhood with a terry cloth towel pinned around my neck, and it's flapping in the wind as I'm running. And no one could tell me any different, that I am going to be Superman when I grew up. But I can tell you, when I got to about 7, 8 years old, my grandmother sat me down and said, "Baby, you got to stop running around the neighborhood with that towel around your neck, because people are starting to talk. They think something's wrong with you." And it was the first time in my life that I had been told that I couldn't do something. And I can tell you that it was devastating in a sense, because that was the dream. But one thing that I learned about myself is that if I had to let go of one dream, then I was always going to pick up another dream. And the other dream that I picked up is I wanted to play in the NFL. And like I said, you got to dream big. So I didn't just want to play in the NFL. I wanted to be a Super Bowl champion and an all-pro and have a Hall of Fame career. So I took it to the pinnacle of what playing in professional football would look like. And that was the dream for about 9 years or so, up until about the point that I was 17. And then I got to a point where I had injuries, and I put myself in a position where I couldn't physically play the game anymore. And I had to let go of that dream. And then all of a sudden, what I realized is, okay, what is it that I want to do now? I'm almost at the point of graduating high school. I have to really know, I've had this one plan for so long, and now it's not going to happen. What am I going to do now? And it came to me that I had a real life Superman that was part of my family, my uncle. And he was the first African-American sergeant, lieutenant, and captain of the Austin Police Department. And he was my role model. And this was the person that he was also in real estate. He was a business owner. So he was everything that I looked at that point as success. Sure. And it was in that moment at 17 years old that I made a decision that I was going to be a police officer. I was eventually going to be a real estate investor or in real estate, and I was going to be an entrepreneur. And I want you to understand something. I'm going to keep things short here, but each and every one of those things that I decided on at 17, I put a plan around it, and I took action on the plan. And here it is at the age of 52, I look back on that decision and the planning and the execution, and everything has fallen into place. And in many cases, it's fallen into places bigger than I could have ever dreamed. So understanding the power of dreaming, but also putting that plan and actually executing, which is the most important step, being able to do those things, you turn dreams, you truly do turn dreams into reality. And that's what I've been fortunate to be able to do. So I want to touch on, again, belief, planning, execution. Now, as a police officer, I spent 17 years as a narcotics detective. So I was used to going into a court of law and having to put a case together to prove my case beyond a reasonable doubt. And I wrote a book, and if you don't mind, is it okay, Pamela, to show the book?
Absolutely.
This is my book, Ignite Your Greatness. And it's available on my website, igniteyourgreatness.com, as well as on Amazon. But in the book, there was one thing that was important to me. I had a theory on greatness. And I told myself, okay, before I can take this person, the reader, through the steps of tapping into their greatness, we got to start with the very first, most important step, and that's belief. I got to prove it to you. I got to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that each and every one of us have greatness inside of us. And in the first chapter of the book, I say, I want to make a deal with you. I'm speaking to the reader. And I say, if I prove to you that you have greatness in you, you must live every day of the rest of your life pursuing it and pulling it out and sharing it with the world. And I want to make that deal with you right now. We're going to do it a little bit faster than we do in the book, but I want to prove to you that we each have greatness inside of us. I'm going to just start by talking about the odds for a second. I want you to think about it. When we hear the word odds, it also, kind of like dreaming, has a negative connotation, because a lot of times when we hear the odds, we think of the odds stacked against us, or the odds of being able to do something are very difficult to reach. But I want you to understand, I studied the odds along with greatness. And one of the things that I learned was through this study that we all have something so very special in us that started in the very beginning. But let me share this with you. So when I was looking at the odds, I kind of started looking at different types of odds. Let me just share with you the odds of being struck by lightning in your lifetime. It's 3,000 to 1. Now, I was surprised by that. I would have really thought that those odds would have been a lot higher. I would have hoped it would be a lot higher. But every one person out of 3,000 in their lifetime will be struck by lightning. Here's another one. The odds of being bit by a shark, 3.1 million to 1. Now, Pamela lives in Minnesota. I live in Colorado. I think our odds are a lot better unless as sharks start coming on land in the Rocky Mountains. Hey, we're all in trouble. So I think we're okay. But again, the odds of being bit by a shark are 3.1 million to 1. Now, here's one I wish the odds were actually lower. 175 million to 1. Those are the odds of winning the lottery. So, not much of a chance to be able to win the lottery, but yet and still people play the lottery all the time, almost on a weekly basis for some people. So you think about that for a second. I don't know anyone that's ever been bit by a shark. I don't know anyone that's ever been struck by lightning. I don't know anyone that's ever won the lottery. But I want to give you this one. 400 trillion to 1. 400 trillion to 1. According to Gary Vaynerchuk, Mel Robbins, these are the odds of just being born. Think about that for a second. The odds of just being born, 400 trillion to 1, but there are 7.8 billion of us right now. that have already beat the greatest odds that life has to throw at us. If that's not greatness, I don't know what is. I got to tell you, when I understood that and realized I'm here for a purpose, you're here for a purpose, that allowed me to start working in a different way and functioning in a different way. Now I want to touch on that belief, but I want to give you this also. The heart. We often talk about, okay, in the book, I want to just show you this again real quick. You see the light that's coming from my chest. And in the book, I share where greatness lies in the body. It's in the center of the chest. Now, most of us think that our heart is in the center of our chest, but it's actually to the center and then off to the left. So there's what we call the pericardial cavity in the center of the chest. And this is the space doctors would tell you this is so the heart can contract and pump blood through the body. It gives it that space. I believe that space is where the greatness lies. I believe that greatness is next to the heart because the heart is the driving force to the body. Let me explain to you. If you were in an automobile is controlled by two things. There's a computer system in the automobile that when you flip the turn signal to turn right, the turn signal starts flashing. When you turn the radio on, the radio comes on. When you put it in drive, the car starts to move forward. Those are all controlled by the computer system. Now, I've seen parts of the computer system in a car break down, and maybe the car is still driving, but the radio's not working. The windshield wipers don't work. The turn signal doesn't work, but the car will still move. But I want you to understand something. If the battery in the car dies, that car is done. Nothing works. It doesn't move. The radio doesn't come on. It's completely dead. The battery is the driving force of the car. The heart is the driving force of the body. Now, while we think with our minds, and mindset is a very powerful piece, we've heard of people that are brain dead, but they're still alive because the heart is still pumping. So that's why I think it is so important that you understand where greatness lies. It's not, a lot of times we think that greatness is part of the mindset, but no, greatness is right there in the center of the heart because of that driving force. And you think about it, when we see a phenomenal athlete, or we see someone that overcomes amazing odds, we were talking about the odds, how do we refer to them? We say, man, that person has heart, that man has heart, that woman has heart. Now, we all have a heart, but we only use the term that person has heart for someone that has done something that is worthy of greatness. So that's why, once again, the greatness, which is attached to the spirit, is right next to the heart. So I have to cut it short in regards to that because of our time, but I want to just give you a few key points in regards to that belief in your greatness, and hopefully that helped you to understand. Definitely pick up the book, and you can certainly learn so much more in regards to that physical anatomy, as far as, and also that spiritual component of the greatness and the spirit and how it's all connected into one. Now, I want to touch on the planning aspect of things. Planning is really the next major step, because we have to know what our steps are to be able to tap into that greatness. And for the planning aspect of things, I use what we call GPS. Most of us know that as global positioning system. I use it as goals, plan, system. Anytime I sit down with someone that has big dreams and they have goals, whether it's a monetary goal, weight loss goal, relationship goal, whatever it is, I always sit down to really break down the goal, because we've all heard to write down our goals. We may have heard to write them 50 times a day. We may have heard to read them every night before we go to sleep. But this is the part that I think many people miss on goals. When I sit down with someone, I find out, let's say they have a monetary goal. They want to make $100,000 a year. I ask them questions. See, questions will lead you to the thing that is inside of you, the true essence of why you're trying to make 100,000. It's not for the dollar amount. So with $100,000, I asked someone, what would you do with the money? And they talk about going on vacations, going or taking their family on vacations with them, not just for them, paying off debt, college funds, all the different things that they would do with the money. Then I take it to the next question of, once you're able to do that, tell me, who does this affect in your life? Oh, it affects my wife. It affects my kids. It affects my parents. It has an impact on all of us. And I do a lot of detail in regards to these areas, because I want them to do this third piece. And I've asked them the third question, and I say, once you're able to do these things and you're able to impact these people in your life that mean very much to you, how is it going to make you feel? Give me the adjectives. And they talk about joyful, stress-free, just happy. The fact that they're able to do these things for people. And I take them through a process of getting them to envision being in that moment right now and feeling it. And that's the key, the feeling, the emotion that you feel inside during that time is what you attach to. You don't attach to the dollar amount. You don't attach to the material things that you'll do with it. You attach to the emotion of how it makes you feel. See, emotion drives motion. And that's, so we go through the goal and we're able to attach to the motion. And then we have, again, the plan and the system. For the sake of time, I won't be able to go through those, but those are the powerful piece. Now, the third area is probably the most important, because it's the one that a lot of people stumble on, and it's execution. Your ability to execute is what brings the dream and the plan into the world. Now people, because see, once you execute, people see that, okay, this person is on the move to do something big. And so again, I always give the analogy of or the riddle of the two frogs on a lily pad. And it goes a little something like this. There are two frogs on a lily pad. One of them decides to jump to land. The question is, how many are left on the lily pad? Most people will say one, but it's two. Because see, deciding to jump and actually jumping are two different things. So you have to take the action. You have to take the steps. And again, in the book, we go through all of the necessary things that it takes to take the steps. And once you read that particular chapter, you will not only take the steps, you will leap into your greatness from there. So Pamela, I definitely want to, I know we've had so many conversations, and from the faith aspect of things, I know how important you believe in dreaming, and again, the greatness that we all have inside of us. But I'm so happy to be able to share this with you, and I hope it's helpful to your audience.
This is amazing. And a couple of things that just really struck me, I wrote them down, the belief, plan, execution. The repetition of that is huge. And that planning isn't all up in here, it's down in here,
Yeah.
you know, and following that emotion that drives you. That's huge, because otherwise we can get stuck here with all the shoulda, woulda, couldas, right? Or can't because of. But from here, it's driving us into that fulfillment. And so I thought that was really magnificent. Also, the odds, it's literally, you have a better chance, y'all, of getting hit by lightning then okay, that's wonderful about the shark than being eaten or bit by a shark. But you literally have a better chance of being hit by lightning than winning the lottery. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. And we are actually here with Superman. So there you go. Barry, that is so awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to share before we end our broadcast today?
Yeah, just really quick, I want to tell you, I probably made all of that sound very simple, but the reality, we all know that there will be challenges through that process. But we have to embrace, honestly, those challenges, the struggle that we go through. Because what I've learned I love to go in the gym and lift weights. And what I've learned is when I take my muscles to muscle failure and I struggle with the weight, what I'm doing over the course of time is I'm strengthening the muscle. I'm getting stronger, but I have to go through the struggle in order to get on the other side of this strength. So I want you to understand that the struggle is a part of the process. And we always hear this term, the struggle is real, but I want you to understand that yes, the struggle is real and it needs to be real, but the part that we don't understand is the greatness inside of us is real as well. So I always want you to remember the struggle is real, but so is your greatness.
The struggle is real, but so is your greatness. That's the perfect place to end our show today. The struggle is real, everybody. Nobody's denying that, but so is your greatness. The odds of you being here, you beat the odds. You're here. And you have a purpose by design, not by default. So I want you to go on out there and be the salt and the light everywhere you go. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you, Barry, for being here. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Pamela Henkel is the founder of the Purpose Center. Pamela is a mindset mentor, author, speaker, minister, and transformation coach. Her weekly podcast, international radio show, and television show are a lifeline that changes lives and inspires people to discover their individual potential through realizing their purpose by design. Pamela is a natural motivator and has shown many how to find their niche and transform their lives. Although success is an uphill battle, Pamela gives the necessary strategies to flourish, cheering you on every step of the way. Pamela shares from her personal experiences, education, and life as a woman in leadership, utilizing decades of knowledge. Taking the approach of, let's have coffee and chat, she will awaken your dreams and purpose by design. Are you ready for Pamela to help guide you? Email us at purposewpamela.office@gmail.com or go to her website at purposewithpamela.com.
Wow, wasn't the Pamela show today amazing with Barry Overton? I tell you, Barry, he was bowling strikes today. Now, don't you forget that you are Superman. You are Wonder Woman, and dare to dream. Now, I have my notes right here. Believe, plan, and execute. Don't forget that. And I'm picking up my phone because I have Barry's book on my phone right here, Ignite Your Greatness. Go get that book and use it to help be your GPS and help you navigate the landscape of the greatness of your life. Thanks for being at the Pamela Show. Remember, you are here on purpose with a purpose by design. Bye.